Abraham Lincoln once said, "In gambling, you can lose 100% of your money or make 2,000%. You decide." This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to a shortened edition of Locked On Big 12. Every Thursday show from here on out will be Beat the Books, the best bets in the Big 12. Don't you like the alliteration there? The big reason why, I'll be transparent with you here, I do an extra episode every Sunday, a Sunday reaction episode. That is 6 days a week of content. While I love doing it, at some point, I've got to take a break from the 24-minute shows and just give you something, a quick hitter on one day of the week to give myself a bit of breathing room here. So Wednesdays, I'm going to record a 10 to 12 minute show that gives you a rundown of every game in the Big 12 and the best bets, where I think the over-under, the spread, where something will land in the Big 12 each week. All of this brought to you by FanDuel as well. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of not only Locked On, but also the NFL and the NBA, the MLB, and all of that jazz. So big fan of our friends at FanDuel who are sponsoring this segment every single week. The best bets in the Big 12. Let's start with the biggest games. Iowa State and Ohio. People really leaning into this one, Iowa State and Ohio. Actually, a minus three line for Iowa State on the road this week. It's a game that somebody has come on this show and predicted that Iowa State will lose. I don't think so. Not so fast, my friends. Iowa State is going to win this football game. They are playing Ohio. This is obvious. However, the thing that I'm looking at is the over-under. Ohio is combined for 37 points in their first game against Long Island, then 27 points in their second game. Iowa's combined 39 points in their first game against Northern Iowa, then 33 points against Iowa. Over-under of 42.5. Give me the under in this bowl game. Do I think Iowa State covers 3 points against Ohio? Of course I do. But if there's a smart bet here, it's under 42.5. This game ends like 16-12, and it's gross and terrible. And the under might hit by 10 points. Oklahoma at Tulsa minus 27.5, and over under of 59.5. What did we learn in week one? Oklahoma's offense is high powered, right? So we love the over here. Oh, what do we also learn in week two? Oklahoma's offense is not that high powered. They did not look great against SMU. It's a Tulsa team that got cooked by Washington. The combined points in that game, 53. Combined points against UAB, 49. This Tulsa offense is not bad, but the Oklahoma offense is also, I guess, inconsistent now. We've learned through 2 weeks. So if I have any play here in this game, it is under 59.5, played up to 60, under 60 for Tulsa and Oklahoma. And I would consider sprinkling a little bit on the Oklahoma line, but I like to stay away from the bigger lines, especially Oklahoma being on the road. I think this one could be a snoozer. We're going to skip over UCF and Villanova. We're going to skip over Baylor and Long Island. Those lines are kind of funky. And honestly, good for you two teams. You should probably win those games by a ton. Cincinnati at home against Miami, Ohio. Here is the reason this is a 14-point spread, because people are expecting that Cincinnati, after the win against Pittsburgh on the road, will have kind of a layover game. They won't be as fired up. They won't be as happy. But, it's like, we won. Not only is Cincinnati going to win this game by more than 14 points, heck, Miami of Ohio lost to Miami 38-3. I love Cincinnati, and these are my favorite games, guys. These are my favorite games. I love Cincinnati minus 13.5 by the half point. Love the hook. Cincinnati minus 13.5 and the over. This is one of my locks of the week. Cincinnati minus 13.5. You want to make money? Cincinnati minus 13.5 and over 46.5. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. That was a 48-point game. That's more than 46.5. Cincinnati put up 66 points against Eastern Kentucky, and Miami of Ohio against a not terrible UMass team. Terrible for what we consider in the Big 12, but could be worse. UMass put up 41 points themselves. Love the over. And that's the thing, Cincinnati with Emory Jones, who is a good quarterback, by the way. Another Big 12 analyst texted me about 3 weeks ago and said Emory Jones will be the worst quarterback in the Big 12. And they were wrong. Cincinnati, take the points. Take the over this week. I am enamored with this Oklahoma State line, -7. It keeps dropping against South Alabama. And I'm going to go South Alabama +7. I know Oklahoma State fans, you're freaking out, but I've told you this. I'm going to stick with this. Oklahoma State is the very best No, I'm going to take that back. They're the worst. They're the worst 9-3 team of all time. The worst 10-2 team of all time. They have an awful, awful schedule of teams. You're like, ooh, this is a South Alabama team that's almost good enough to make this competitive. South Alabama loses 24-21. Oklahoma State, you get the win. The over-under 47.5 is too close to call. Oklahoma State doesn't cover 7, but they do win the game. If you want to throw them in a money line parlay, Texas Tech and Tarleton State, going to leave that on the cutting room floor as well because just go win the game. Just go win the game, my friends. Now, some of the bigger ones. Let's get into the bigger ones here. Kansas and Nevada, minus 28-point spread for Kansas, over under 59. I think this Kansas offense puts up 55 by itself. All I need is Nevada. All I need is Nevada to score 7 points. Kansas covers 28. Nevada's one of the worst teams in the FBS. Kansas also goes over 59.5. I'm more confident in Kansas minus 28. That's going to happen. We got to stop denying Kansas. We got to stop pretending Kansas is a bad football team. Give me the Jayhawks minus 28 points this week. I will be betting that game. Something I'm staying away from, Texas and Wyoming. Oh, over under 48.5. But they have Texas winning by 28.5. This is gross. I'm staying away from it. If anything happens in this game, if I had to lean one way, is what I'm trying to say, I would go Wyoming plus 28.5. Now, I'm a big gambler. I'm not a little gambler. I'm a big gambler. And I will not be playing this game just because I'm a little leery of what this line looks like. I do think Wyoming covers 28.5, but I'm not going to play it because Texas could win by 35 coming off the Alabama win. If I had to play the over-under, it'd be over 48.5. So far, what do we have? Cincinnati, the over in the Cincinnati-Miami of Ohio game, and Cincinnati minus 14 are some of my favorite plays so far, as well as Iowa State, Ohio under. Love those couple of plays. Now, the big dogs. Houston hosting TCU. If TCU doesn't cover 7.5 with a 64.5 point spread, I will be shocked. This game should not get to 64.5 points. It should not. I love the under in this game. I love it. And I love TCU minus 7.5. Again, if the Horned Frogs don't win this game by 7.5 points, what are we doing here? Houston is the worst team in the Big 12 right now. They lost to Rice last week. Heck, Rice almost covered 7.5. Did Rice almost covered 7.5? TCU will cover 7.5. I still have a lot of confidence in the Horned Frogs. I really do. Chandler Morris, shaky. Prove me something. Here's a great place to prove it. I know it's on the road, but it's a funky, wonky little game that TCU, the Horned Frogs, the Hypnotoad, they win by 14, at least 14. TCU needs to make a statement this week, and that Colorado game is just because Colorado is really good at football. A lock of the week. One of my top 5 locks of the week, TCU minus 7.5. West Virginia, don't think I forgot about you. You're going to win this football game. West Virginia is hosting Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just lost to Cincinnati at home. This is a game that I thought was an automatic loss for West Virginia a couple of weeks ago, but after watching what Pittsburgh did against Cincinnati in their own stadium, a Cincinnati team that I'm still holding out a little bit on here, I am so confident the West Virginia run game that C.J. Donaldson comes out and absolutely mauls the Pittsburgh defense. That Garrett Green comes out and does just enough for West Virginia to get this win. Over under 49.5. I'm staying away from completely. But West Virginia, one of my top 5 locks. So what do we have so far? We have West Virginia to win against Pittsburgh. That is an even line. TCU minus 7.5. I love Cincinnati minus 14. And I also love Kansas minus 28 against Nevada. Only a couple more to go here. And again, they're bigger games. BYU and Arkansas. I got to be honest with you on this one. It's not in my top 5 locks. I will be staying away from this game because Arkansas is without its running back, Rocket Sanders. So I have more confidence in BYU. The over-under of 47.5 is very tricky because this was a high-scoring game last year. KJ Jefferson's really good at football. I think Keaton Slovis can be good at football. BYU has shown me inconsistency in the first 2 weeks. I don't know if I'm buying or selling on the Cougars yet. I don't know if I'm buying and selling on Arkansas yet. Both of these teams are in a similar boat of prove something to me. Philip Slavin said on the show yesterday, said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with this game. If BYU wins, are they good? If BYU loses, are they good? If Arkansas wins, it's the exact same conversation. This game in Fayetteville, 6:30, a night game. The crowd will be rocking, of course, two undefeated teams. I do believe the winner is ranked on Monday. That I can tell you. As far as playing this game, Arkansas -8. If I had to lean in any direction, it is certainly BYU +8 for sure. I do think BYU covers 8, but I'm not confident enough to play this one. I'm leaving alone. I'm leaving the Arkansas BYU game alone. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to enjoy it as a fan. Then the big daddy of them all. Kansas State on the road, an SEC opponent. Will Howard in the house in Columbia, Missouri. Como, baby. Oh, my God. This game will be won by as many points as Kansas State wants to win it by. My number one, LOW, lock of LOTW, lock of the week. You like making money? Kansas State -5. Not only that, I love the over. I think Kansas State wins like 35-14. I have my bet somewhere in that, or 31-21, somewhere in that range. They go over 48. Kansas State covers 5. That's my lock of the week. Kansas State -5 is my lock of the week. Iowa State, Ohio, under 42.5. Play it if you want to make some money this week. Cincinnati -14. I know you like money, so you're going to play that one too, right? West Virginia is going to beat Pittsburgh. How confident am I? Well, it's in my top 5, so I guess it's got to happen. And then Kansas covers 28 against Nevada. If you want your wild card in there, TCU -7.5. It has to happen. It's going to happen. There's 6. I'll give you 6. That's an extra one. You really like money? There's an extra one. 6 of them. You got it right here, right now. Those are your locks of the week in the Big 12. That's what's going to happen this Saturday. If you want to make some money on FanDuel, that's what you got to play. Today's episode is brought to you by... well, FanDuel, of course. Absolutely. FanDuel's the number one sports book in America. New customers bet $5. You get $200 in bonus bets. That's right. $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. FanDuel is where I go to make all my sports betting picks. I make money sometimes. I lose money sometimes. But overall, I have a damn good time playing at FanDuel.com. And all returning customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything. Spreads to player props and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NFL. There it is. Make some money. Bet on Kansas State. KSU Wildcats. Emaw. I love it. Cincinnati. West Virginia. Take me home. Country roads. That's the Big 12 this week. Those are your best bets. Want to make money? Make money with me. That now you know what I'm putting my money on. So if you make money, I make money. If you lose money, I lose money. We're in this together. This has been It Always Will Be. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Locked on. Thanks again for making it your first listen every single day. Doce Grande.